welcome back to the GG Show, Season 2, Episode 1. We are here, we are back, and we've been working on a new product for the longest time. I'm back here with Imran, and he's going to tell you a little bit more about what we've been working on in the background. So, take it over, bro.
Hey man, it's good to be back for season 2. We've been gone for quite a while. I mean, you know what we've been busy with, but I mean, for people who don't know, we've been pretty busy building a one-of-a-kind product. And I think now the internet and social media know we launched it about a month and a half ago. And it was basically the first wallet or first fintech app specifically for gamers to enable whatever you want to call it, youth banking, youth financial inclusion, the gaming economy, gaming monetization, and something we've been building for the last 2 years, almost 2 years, and we all know it was like payments, esports, payouts, tournaments. These things have been a real problem in Pakistan traditionally. It's pretty fragmented, and when we got into the esports side, like 2 years ago with you guys, 2.5 years ago, and we realized that there were a lot of gaps that needed to be filled in order to make esports and gaming in general more accessible. So we're pretty excited. The response over the last 45 days has been nothing short of amazing. So anybody hearing this, go on down to the App Store or the Google Play Store, download the Raptor wallet, sign up. It's super fast, takes just a couple of seconds, and get to understand and enjoy what we mean when we say gaming finance or a fintech for gamers, right? It looks awesome. I think it looks awesome, and other people think it looks awesome. It's also your daily use. The cool part is it's also your daily use fintech, so it's like any other financial app that you have, but at the same time, it's got so many cool gaming features built in. I mean, there's 10, 15 tournaments happening all the time. It's heavily gamified. So there's rewards and gamification for everything that you do. It has some of the largest library of digital and physical gaming goods. Not to mention, we just activated comics, anime, and manga. So some of the best stuff there, and it's all in-app. You can buy stuff, and none of those running around and trying to get like gaming codes or top-ups and vouchers from like different places. It's all embedded within the financial ecosystem. But the cool part is we've had people using it to run tournaments. We've had people like students and universities and communities reach out to us to enable them to like do their tournaments, enable them to like list those tournaments on our app for like registration and stuff like that, and then do the winning and the prize pool payouts digitally. And that's actually been pretty exciting. Because that's what we actually wanted. We wanted it to be the default like payment and like kind of like tournament mechanism for young gamers and gamers in general. And that's what we're seeing happening, right? I mean, it's being adopted in universities and campuses across Pakistan. And this is just the start, man. We've got so much cool stuff coming in over just the next week itself, and then the next month. And Faz, I'm sure wouldn't want me to share right now, but he's got like a huge thing planned for the summer. So I think it runs all the way from mid-March to mid-August. Yeah, so it's a one-of-a-kind thing all across summer for everybody who loves gaming. And obviously, our great partners from IGN are also helping us do a lot of these things.
So like for me, the biggest use case for me when it comes to Raptor Wallet was literally like yesterday. My PS Plus ran out, and all I did was sign onto the app, got my code. I'm not even kidding. Like within 15 minutes, I got my code, and I was like back on.
I think 15 minutes is also too much, man. I mean,
15 minutes because बीच में distractions हो जाते हैं, कोई ना कोई घर पे आ जाता है, घंटे पे.
Yeah, technically it should take you somewhere around 6 to 9 seconds to get a code, which is like fantastic, and it's all automated and it's all direct from publishers and stuff like that. So keep tuned in during the summers. Faz has apparently got like some very exciting things planned for gamers.
So the next time, I think probably when this podcast goes live, you'll understand what we're talking about when it comes to the summer. And then the next one will be an even bigger one, and we'll go even more in detail. But I have a question for you.
Yeah.
If you could describe Raptor Wallet as a person, who do you think it would be?
As a person.
Uh,
So in my mind, a Raptor wallet, if I were to describe a persona, let's put it this way. If I was planning an advertising campaign or a brand campaign and I had to describe a persona on that piece of paper, in my mind it would be a 18 to 20-year-old guy, extremely tech savvy, extremely digitally aware, and extremely financially aware, right? So, and that's what the new generation is starting to look like, right? Like, I'm well into my 40s, so this is what the new generation looks like, right? They know stuff that we just don't. And they know about payments, and they know about stuff like QR, they know about stuff like, even remittances and cross-border and PayPal and freelancing, and they know all of these things, right? So imagine that kind of a knowledgeable 18 to 20-year-old with now his entire gaming love life and ecosystem baked into that financial ecosystem.
So basically, like Mark Zuckerberg from the social network.
Well, this will go out on Meta, so yeah, sure, Faz. Let's go with Mark Zuckerberg. But like every niece and nephew you have who's above 18, like anybody who's like, I mean, even the influencers we work with, I'm surprised how much they interact with gaming on a daily basis, right? So yeah, and that's who we made the app for, man. I mean, I remember when we were doing, like in our app, for example, you can do mobile top-ups, right? And internet payments. And many of these payment partners came to us and said, hey, why don't you also allow bijli ka bill dena, ya, pani ka bill dena, ya, chalan dena. I'm like, that's not who my product is targeted to, man. It's not, it is squarely targeted to the persona of a person who wants to spend money on things that affect his life directly, which is his mobile phone, which is his internet connection, which is, so like we do QR codes, right? So majority of, at least in Karachi, majority of the gaming zones accept payments using the Raptor wallet. That's the kind of stuff they want to spend on, right? They don't want to pay, like what 18, 20-year-old, 21, 22-year-old do you know jo ghar ka pura bijli ka bill kisi ke liye deta? Yeah, of course it happens, but that's not hardly ever the primary use case for someone in the house, right? So we try to keep it very close to that persona that I described, as to just empower that core demographic that has, in my opinion, and I've been at this for years, very underrepresented.
For sure.
And in our country, though, unfortunately, we say 18 because opening bank accounts or fintech app accounts under 18 is quite painful. But when I travel abroad and in developing markets like the UAE, they qualify these financially able users from the age of 13. There's argument by wallet and all of this stuff, right? So these are extremely underrepresented individuals. And lambi ho jayegi, and there's so many other things, man. They take part in gaming in the country. They're scammed. They don't get paid out. There's no formal platform that they can complain on because there's no formal platform that they compete on or they get paid on. But in our case, if you remember, we've done more than 40 tournaments, 50 tournaments now just this launch.
Yeah.
And it's an official platform. It's a regulated platform. There are bank partners and payment partners with us. If someone doesn't get paid, there are 10 different ways to literally show up at our office and screw us over. Or get like the State Bank or the partner bank or somebody to send us a notice and screw us over. Payments are all digitally done. It's transparent. It's backed by 50 people. And I think that's what's really exciting for kids who use our app. Everything they know comes from someplace that's really clued into the gaming ecosystem. Like tournaments is one example. Gaming codes is another example. The number of in-app integrations we've done, the number of games you can directly top up in, then the great product library that we have, then the great anime manga collection that we have. So tomorrow if I start selling like general clothes over there, don't you think it's going to look a bit odd on the app?
Sure.
But if I start selling some really awesome sneakers or kicks, that's like completely in there, right? Because that's like the persona, right?
I agree.
So I mean that's who we are going for.
So Imran mentioned earlier about the summer of Raptor. This summer seems to be a very, very interesting summer when it comes to gaming. I mean, even gaming right now is just very, very interesting. I remember you were raving about Clear Expedition. Have you given it a shot?
It's Expedition 33.
Expedition
Clair
33.
Obscur.
My bad.
So there's a lot of games to talk about.
Yeah.
And they've all been like suddenly dumped on us, right?
Yeah.
Like I'll first start one step before. Like the Oblivion, Elder Scrolls Oblivion
Oh yeah.
just dropped out of nowhere, right? And that's
Yeah.
like one of my most favorite games. In fact, a lot of people who close to me know this, that when I bought the PS3, I bought the PS3 on launch day, Christmas Eve, I think 2005, launch day. And I really couldn't afford to buy उस ज़माने में 6,000 रुपए game होते थे. Huge King's Ransom back then. And I really couldn't afford to buy that many games. So I thought to myself, what is a game that I could buy at launch that will last me like
Yeah.
the longest, right? So I never played Morrowind because Morrowind was an Xbox game. I had the PS2. So I got Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. I absolutely loved it. Played it like 3 times back then before I moved on to the games. So when they showed up like a couple of weeks ago, I lost my mind. And dude, not only is this is not like a HD remaster or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know why they call it a remaster. It's a ground up remake.
For sure.
It looks gorgeous.
I've seen a lot of people say that there's no difference between the
I think
two
they're
games.
blind if they're saying there's no difference, right?
Because I never played the original, nor have I played the new one, but I have seen comparisons that you showed me, whether that's on the console in our office or at your place or whatever, and it looks nothing the same.
It's absolutely gorgeous,
It looks so
but
good.
it still maintains all the great mechanics, all the great storyline. And now, if you think of it, the game came out such a long time ago, 20 years ago, almost 20 years ago. You have to acknowledge that there is a whole generation of adults 18 and above who weren't even born when it came out, who probably never even played it, because by the time they got their first console from their parents, that game was already like 12 years old. And why would you buy a 12-year-old game? You'd buy whatever game is there. So a lot of people go like, oh, Bethesda's just rehashing. I'm like, no, bro. Do you realize how many generations have played Skyrim?
Yeah. Skyrim,
Like-
I've played Skyrim on PS3, I played it on PS4, and I played it on PS5 as well.
PC, God knows, Xbox, Anniversary Edition, Special Edition, and then when they enable mods, people played it all over again with the mods enabled, right? So because there was such a large generation that hadn't played something so magical, right? So just imagine, this is even older than that. This is 20 years old. There's like millions of 18, 20-year-old kids who weren't even fucking born when this came out, right?
Yeah.
So Bethesda has given them this beautiful IP which looks better than Skyrim does, right? So imagine. So now because a lot of these kids played Skyrim and went like my kid has played Skyrim like 100 times, and then they're craving for Elder Scrolls 6, and suddenly one of the best ones drops out and it's like free on Game Pass or whatever, and then you go like, oh my god, I can play something. I think it's absolutely brilliant.
You think we'll ever see an Elder Scrolls 6?
Yeah, 100%. 100% we'll
But
see.
like not this generation, the next generation.
No, this generation.
Really?
100%. Yeah, 100% this generation. 100%. And I've also been involved in the technical side of gaming, so I read into things a lot. This Oblivion remaster is sort of like a pilot of the engine that they'll use for 6. Because of all the
That
worlds
is-
are tied in together, and then obviously depending on the techniques at that time, stuff like ray tracing and this and that will happen. But so that I think everybody should play it. Though I do feel it leaves a little bit of optimization on. It needs a little bit of optimization on the PC.
Okay.
On the console, it works beautiful. And I heard some patches are coming in. Otherwise, it's awesome. The other one was Expedition 33 Claros.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So, Claire, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe it's a turn-based game, right?
No.
It's not.
So, well, not entirely.
Okay.
You wouldn't be wrong for calling it a turn-based game,
Okay.
but you'd be wrong for categorizing it as a turn-based game. It's sort of like Final Fantasy, the new
Okay.
one, but if the fighting part was semi-turn-based. And explain how.
Okay. So, I mean, like, let me get this straight. So, you have the ability to move around.
Yeah, you move around a gorgeous landscape, 100%.
Okay.
Like 100% gorgeous landscape, amazing voice acting, amazing characters, amazing graphics. Like even on I have it on my Asus ROG Ally because I play it on the go. Even on low settings of everything, it still looks stunning. Like it's absolutely brilliant, right? The soundtrack, the actors. It has Charlie Cox, the guy who plays Daredevil,
Yeah.
right? So, and everything on that. But when you enter battles, it goes into a turn-based mechanic. But there are also elements of some real-time, quick-time mechanics to it. Like you can dodge, you can parry,
Okay.
and it's fascinating. But yes, it is like a turn-based RPG, sort of on the battle side. But the story, just the way it is done. I mean, for a lot of my friends, the soundtrack of Clair Obscura is on their YouTube or their Spotify playlist. It's like insane. It's just a brilliant game, and that's also a poorly optimized game for the PC, but again looks beautiful on consoles. Absolutely.
I really wish I had the patience to play these kind of games.
Well, if you wanted to start, I would suggest this would be the game you start with because it's the most, it's the softest landing into this kind of.
So I'm not just. I mean, I'm not talking about turn-based games entirely. I'm talking about story games entirely because
You played Skyrim.
Huh.
You played Skyrim.
I played Skyrim, but I played that before I got into the whole, very gelled into the whole esports scene. Because I prefer games that like, it's very fast-paced. So like FIFA, I'm into that. I play that all the time. You quickly get in, quickly get out. Marvel Rivals, same thing. Quickly get in, quickly get out. It's very quick. And it's
Sure. I mean,
yeah.
I mean that's why game genres exist, right? To each
Yeah.
his own. It's like buying anything. It's like anything. Movies, like some people literally follow the Oscar movie list. You know those
Yeah.
slow-paced, story narrative-driven artsy movies,
Yeah.
and that's fine. That's why those movies exist.
Yeah.
I would slit my wrist if that happened. I probably would not go through a whole movie. I like the more science fiction, action, fantasy, crime, thriller, drama. I'm a sucker for that, right? So yeah, but we were talking about like how many games were dumped this time.
Yeah.
Man, there was something for everyone. So like the first one, Oblivion,
Yeah.
I think it was something for everyone in that game because it was one of the easier ones. Then Clair Obscure for the more purist. Then dude, Atomfall came.
Okay. Tell
And
me a little bit about Atomfall. I haven't really read up on it.
well, it's difficult. So think of it as Fallout with immensely better mechanics and graphics.
Okay.
So dystopian future, England, dystopian future, aliens, stuff like that. Really good stuff.
You guys can't see this, but there's someone in the background that's just shaking his head no when it comes to it's similar to Fallout, but
Well, it is similar to Fallout in its theme. It's a dystopian post-apocalyptic world that's gone to shit because of nuclear holocaust, and now you have mutants and stuff in there. Like it is loosely that, but the mechanics and the gameplay nothing to do with Fallout. It's absolutely gorgeous,
okay.
and the gameplay is so much fun.
Is
And-
it a very long game?
No, it's very. It's a lot like playing a first-person shooter,
Okay.
but obviously with more story elements. And that is one game that even the guy signaling we will agree, amazingly optimized for PC. Amazingly, that's some amazing work for optimization. It runs like a dream on my Steam Deck, like a dream on my Rogue Ally on big PCs. Beautiful, amazing game. So that dropped. Then 2K25 dropped.
2K25. I have been playing it recently, and
That's amazing.
Achha, a lot of people didn't like the concept of the island. They said it has no place in a WWE game, which I agree with. But I mean, I gave it a shot. I played like 2-3 hours of it, and I think it's okay. I mean, it's not. It's very like it is very money grabby though from them. It
Of
is
course,
very money
of course,
grabby.
100%. So,
But like for sorry, I'm cutting you off. But for a WWE fan, it's pretty cool because you get to interact with people like Johnny Gargano, like R-Truth, Roman Reigns, Undertaker. You get to interact with all of these people. So it's pretty cool.
So you have to understand that WWE now lives in a very entertainment world. That's why the deal with Netflix is there as well, right? And I talk about this topic with some measure of authority because you know I'm a huge wrestling
Yeah.
buff. That's a separate thing that I do. It's a post-entertainment world for WWE, right? And we're not the target market. The target market is primarily European and North American, right? If I was not to be so discrediting as to say only North American, but it's mostly North American and European. we cannot relate to the live audience or interaction experience of WWE. My friends and cousins who are in the US, when they go to these WWE events, live events or whatever, they say it's better than any concert. It's more happening than any jam that happens, because there's a pageantry to it, there's a hype to it, there's hoopla, and it's almost like a festival and stuff like that, right? And they've tried to create that in Ireland, where it's themed places. So like, we don't even know what a fanatic experience is. A fanatic experience for Americans is very common. It's at every WWE event, there's an entire separate arena that has these fan activities going on. There are stars over there are gimmicks over there are games over there. We don't know what a WWE Universe experience is. We've never been to Riyadh, it's over there, it's in Los Angeles. We don't know what these things are. So they kind of brought that into the island, where you roam around, you meet people, you buy things. And when people buy things who are diehard fans, they like buying micro merchandise and stuff like that. See, it's money grabby when it's pay for progression. Please understand this. Paying for progression is money grabby.
But that is an aspect in it, though.
An aspect of it, right? But if you play the WrestleMania mode or the game or the faction, you can do bloody well without spending a dime, right? Yeah. So they make you pay for it the same way Fortnite makes you pay for it. Yeah. That's not money grabby. Don't buy the Daredevil suit, right? They just say it's cosmetics. Don't buy it. Big freaking deal, right? So you can play in Fortnite all you want, but if you want early access to new levels and stuff, buy the Battle Pass. You don't want to buy the Battle Pass, pay with your friends your entire life through that and earn free credits. You want to buy the new Doctor Strange outfit that comes out, spend $15. If you don't, that's fine. That's also pretty cool, right? So it's really nasty when it's like the Battlefront 2 type of shit. Where, I mean, that's the gold standard for shit, right? Like you can't, like people would grind 60 hours and not progress. Like that's insane, right? So that's
like 100 hours to get Darth Vader. 100 hours for each character.
People would tag EA on Twitter, post pictures and say, 150 घंटे खेलनी है, still can't buy like Darth Vader or Darth Maul or Rey.
I think ये जो Battlefront 2 जब आई थी and EA ने Reddit पे एक चीज डाली थी. It was a comment saying something along the lines of, we want to reward players with a sense of progression, so that's why we made this game very grindy. And I think it is the most disliked comment on Reddit.
That's the most disingenuous comment as well. And well, I do credit them for one thing. Because of all this shit they've pulled so many times, the US Congress actually passed the anti-loot box law for gaming. Loot boxes are now illegal. I'm like, thank God, you know. Because it was like literally you were paying for raffle, like you were paying for a loot box. And a loot box is, I don't know what the shit is in this. So it's like...
It's
gambling, right?
Basically
luck of the draw. Which is so stupid, right? That's not progression. That's not grinding, right? So, but anyway, I digress. We were talking about Adam Ford. WWE2K25. So the island, I'm a huge wrestling fan. I enjoy it. And also they had to give something to Roman Reigns, the island of relevancy, right? So that was pretty cool. So, okay, let's talk about the big news. The shit hit the fan news. A Forza game on PS5.
Yes. I have.
Okay, so I am not picking sides here, right? I own both the Series X and I own Windows and Linux handhelds. But bro, that's gotta feel good to the PS fanboys.
And not even Forza, they announced Gears of War.
Gears of War built, and they've been clear to mention built from the ground up for PS5. I'm like, holy shit. So and can I elaborate a little bit on this?
Sure.
I don't think it's a bad thing at all. I mean, I'll enjoy all the banter on social media about PS fanboys and Xbox fanboys and stuff like that. There's a lot of things to talk about. The GTA trailer. Rockstar has officially mentioned this is PS5 footage. Why would they do that? It's going to come on every platform. So you understand? So if you want to pick apart things, there's a lot of things to pick apart, but it does nobody any good, right? Let's talk about the good things. The good thing is, these are games that everybody should experience, right? These are games that everybody should enjoy. These are games that should be celebrated in pop culture history, like Halo is, right? But again, Halo only went as far as PC and Xbox. But Halo will at some point come to the PS5, and you'll have hundreds of millions of users celebrating Master Chief
Yeah.
till they grow old. Like, because not everybody's fortunate enough to have two consoles, bro.
Yeah, so like
it's a privilege.
I grew up. I mentioned this before as well, but I've only had PlayStation growing up, and I know about Halo. Anybody who is even slightly into gaming knows what Halo is. So when that comes to PlayStation,
100%, right?
It's gonna be
So it's everybody should have the privilege of
Yeah.
enjoying these games. Right? And right now I'm talking about Xbox, right? So, and that's why Forza, it's a Microsoft game. Good on them, bro. Good on them. They've now allowed millions of car enthusiast kids across the world
Yeah.
to probably play the best racing game and series that exists today, right? Which I had the privilege of playing because I owned the Series X. Gears of War. You guys know how much I love that series.
Yeah.
For the second time in my life now, I'm playing all the way from 1 to 5 and all over again on my Asus. These are great games.
Yeah.
Like, for example, like the PS guys whose primary console is the PS.
Yeah.
They spent an eternity raving about Kratos, raving
Yeah.
about Nathan Drake, raving about Resistance, raving about Killzone. And I believe a whole generation lost out on the opportunity of playing these games until Sony said, we'll at least bring it to the PC.
Yeah.
Which is like a very sweet way of saying that we're not opposed to the idea of the Xbox, but right now let's do the PC for now, right? And they were able to do that. Millions of gamers for the first time enjoyed God of War, enjoyed Nathan Drake, enjoyed so many great games that were first party Sony property. And I think that's when Microsoft also realized it's cool to do so. It
Yeah.
doesn't take your customers away. Because let's not forget, Microsoft has a great service called Game Pass.
Yep.
And to be
Much
very
better
honest,
than- much better than PS Plus, if I say
plus
so myself.
the PS Plus is catching up because in essence they're both the same service. The only difference is that's a better service because it also works on PC.
Yeah.
But it's the same service. But their library is awesome and their user base is awesome. And they have the balls to do day one releases on it.
Yeah.
That takes courage. Because see, think about it. You can also sell me, like if I was a Game Pass Ultimate user and Black Ops 6 came out, you could have said, you're a Game Pass Ultimate subscriber, I'll only charge you $29.99. I would have lost my shit. I would have been like, $69.99 the game, $30 mein mil raha hai because yes, I love Game Pass, right?
Yeah.
But they went like day one, cross-platform.
Yeah.
PC पे, Asus ROG Ally पे, Series X पे, go nuts. That takes balls, bro.
Yeah.
Right? Because when Sony did the same with Last of Us Remastered 2, they said, pay $10 to upgrade. Nobody even thought twice. It's $10.
Yeah.
Tuck, 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 to दे दिया. Now imagine if they would have asked $30 for $40 for Black Ops, कोई भी mind नहीं करता. We would have been like, यार सस्ते में game मिल गया. But they gave it for free.
Yeah.
Hellblade 2 for free. So I think it's a good thing because as it is, you know my view on the future of hardware. Hardwares will cease to exist.
Yeah.
It'll only be publishers and games, right? And it'll only be, today you fight on whose graphics are better on whose console. Tomorrow you'll simply argue on whose streaming service is better. That's it.
Yeah.
It's simply it. Like for example, I acknowledge that Amazon's video quality is 50 times better than Netflix.
100%.
Because Amazon owns some of the best transcoding and coding companies like Elemental in the world, right? So when you watch on the same TV an Amazon Prime show and Netflix, you're like, I've just upgraded from like SD to HD, right?
Yeah.
But software-wise, Amazon is a nightmare and a piece of shit.
Yeah.
And Netflix is brilliant. It just works like you're watching it on your laptop, right?
Yeah.
But Amazon with the mar ke scroll, and it doesn't matter. You could have a 10 lakh rupees ka laptop, or 20 lakh rupees ka TV is going to work equally shit on
I've been
both of
watching Reacher on Prime Video, and I agree with what you said. So if you watch 4K on Netflix, it's different. If you watch 4K on Prime Video, it looks completely.
But it works like dirt, bro, when you want to like quickly file. Oh, it's horrible, right? So this is the stuff you'll be debating on in the future, right? Like for example, on the PS Portal, they've just enabled now live stream, cloud streaming on there, right? Microsoft Cloud Streaming is on beta on the machines, they'll enable it. Then you'll only fight on किसके पास लाइब्रेरी बेहतर है.
Yeah.
That's pretty much it. ये किसके पास फीचर्स बेहतर है. It's a terrifying notion for them because it's a great equalizer because और कोई फर्क ही नहीं है. Because probably सबके डेटा सेंटर में वही हार्डवेयर लगा हुआ होगा and there'll be no difference. So then what are you competing on? Then you compete on the traditional brand, perception, sweeteners. वो बोल देगा कि मेरे पास Black Ops 6 में लॉन्च डे पे 7 न्यू गन्स एंड स्किन्स होंगी. वो बोलेगा मेरे पास तो नहीं है लेकिन मेरे पास फोर्जा खेलोगे तो मेरे पास 6 नए गाड़ियां होंगी जो तुम्हें उधर नहीं मिलेंगी. That's the shit you'll be arguing on. And you'll be paying both of them $19.99 a month and it is what it is. And you'll be able to play on your phone, which you can today. You'll be able to play on your laptop, your TV. All Samsung TVs come now with Xbox Remote Play and cloud streaming. यही तो चाहिए ना जिंदगी में. Like why would you not want to buy a TV? And the TV guy also sells you a nice Bluetooth 5000 ka controller. And you come home, you boot it up, you enter your Microsoft details, and you go on Game Pass, click, cloud stream, end of story, bro.
Yeah.
So that's where we headed. So to get there, you need to have people from both sides experience this content. सब चालाक है, कोई किसी के बाप पे एहसान नहीं कर रहा. Because if we go into a hardware-free world, you'll have people my age who never have played Forza who won't give a shit if Microsoft service is good or not. But now as a PlayStation owner, if I've also played Forza and Halo and all of that, I'll be like, hey, यार मैं ये सर्विस लूँगा यार. The chance तो यही हो सकता है ना कि if I have limited budget and I have to choose, I'll be like, PS Play छोड़ो, I'll go in. So it's all that, man. So I love it. I absolutely love it. And there's a lot of library of Xbox games you guys haven't played that I was lucky to play. Halo Master Chief Collection is one of them.
Yep.
I'm not a really fan of the 5th one, but the Master Chief Collection, which is all of them, is a great one. Forza, Project Gotham, Fable, the RPG. There's so many wonderful.
The one
games.
that I've always wanted to play on Xbox was Medal of Honor. I've always wanted to play Medal of Honor.
Why Xbox? It's on every platform.
Really?
Medal of Honor is on every platform.
I distinctly remember there was this one Medal of Honor game that I wanted to play, and I couldn't play it because it was only on Xbox.
No clue, bro. Most of them came on cross-platform, on every
I think it was
platform.
Medal of Honor Warfighter. I can't-
Warfighter तो थी Xbox 360 पे था, but नहीं PC पे भी था. Anyways, I don't know. But yeah, so like I said, so Forza came out. So on the topic that came out. So yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm genuinely excited. Let's see क्या होता है इस पे.
Yeah. So do you think they would have any? So Gears of War, like you said, it's being done from the ground up. Do you think there's going to be any gameplay changes or no? Not really.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, there will be. I mean, I have my views on the gameplay changes. It's a bit.
Outdated.
Yeah, it's sluggish. I felt that with first God of War as well. Right? Making Kratos run in a straight line or whatever, it would feel like a controller is locked into place. It was very difficult. It's kind of those archaic movements where you can only run in a straight line and then very little tilt.
Okay.
Because it's a cover-to-cover shooter, right?
Uh-huh.
So it's very different. I think those things will kind of be a little softened up.
Okay.
Because nostalgia is a powerful weapon, right?
Yep.
Like I'm okay with the same mechanics in Gears of War 5 because I've played 6 Gears of Wars before it. Yes, that's not a wrong calculation. There were 6 because there's Gears 1, 2, 3, 4 and then there's Gears Judgment and then there's Gears 5 and all of that. Right? So I'm okay with it. People who play it on the PS5 will have no nostalgia. So they're used to mechanics that they're used to. So maybe for them it'll be like a little softened up so that they have like, acha haan yaar, it's a game. But it's such a cool game and the characters are so amazing. The biggest crime is a movie's never been made.
Yeah.
So I thought there were 3 crimes about movies. One was I thought it was a crime that there was never a Red Dead Redemption movie.
Okay.
I think that was a crime. I had always thought there was a crime that there was not a Gears of War movie, and there have been many actors that were signed. And I used to think there's a crime that there's never been an Uncharted movie. But after I saw the Uncharted movie, I think that's the actual crime, which is the Uncharted movie.
I still haven't seen it. I still haven't watched the movie.
Let's not talk about it.
Okay.
I think when the real actual one comes out, they'll just kind of like forget that this ever really happened. Like whatever they made.
So
right?
what would you say is better, the Uncharted movie or the Last of Us TV show?
Okay, what smells worse, vomit or poo? Is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
What is better? Neither.
Neither.
Neither. Like I said, you ask me what smells better, vomit or poo?
Yeah.
Neither. Maybe they're on a spectrum, but neither. See, I'll tell you my problem with Last of Us. I'm not saying it's not a good show. It's a great show in some aspects. Especially every moment Pedro Pascal is on screen, every moment the supporting cast is on screen. But I genuinely do believe that the woke agenda, and when I say woke agenda, please, I do not mean lesbians, gays, bisexuals, transvestites, is not the definition of woke for me. It is largely the treatment of topics as well. Is this really, really cautious, snowflakey approach
Yeah.
to blunt, uncomfortable subjects and topics, right? And then yes, the cultural wokeness also starts to creep in and ruin the script because, like, the game was woke enough,
Yeah.
and then you kind of went like, oh, how can I up the ante on my wokeness? And like I said, I want to be very categoric. I don't care if I get hate online for this. I'm not anti-woke, but I am anti-zabardasti woke. Like when it's adding no context, no flavor, no third dimension to the proceedings. In fact, if as someone who has fanatically played 1 and 2 and cried and wept on what happens, for those people who don't know, I feel that the show, especially this season, has actually taken away from the essence of what we experienced in the game.
Yeah.
Like if you go on YouTube right now and search any of those videos that have those 8-hour lengths, because they do all the cutscenes and all the gameplay like a movie, you will be more teary-eyed and more shaken to your core than you will be after watching the movie. तो और मैं स्टूपिड किस्म की आर्गुमेंट्स भी नहीं जा रहा कि ओ बेला रैमजी को नहीं लेना चाहिए था, नहीं, इससे क्या फर्क पड़ता है यार? मतलब
बेला रैमजी is a great
नहीं, मतलब उन्होंने डंबलडोर को काला कर दिया यार, इससे क्या फर्क पड़ता है टीवी शो में? इट डजंट रियली मैटर. ये तो आपका कॉन्टेक्स्ट है ना. अगर आपको किताबों में पढ़ा होता आपने कि डंबलडोर काला है, आपको कहते काला बंदा है, आप वो तो घोड़ा बंदा है, इससे कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता. ये तो आपका कॉन्टेक्स्ट है ना, बस कॉन्टेक्स्ट चेंज कर दें आप अपना. डजंट रियली मैटर. So this is not a definition of wokeness or whatever for me. It is just the treatment of it. Dude, I still close my eyes and I can't get over the game. I can't. It's scarring. It's left an impression on me. The show, not so much. Right? So, but again, I still believe it's a better product than Uncharted. Uncharted is something that Sony should genuinely be ashamed of. Like, that's my view. That you should genuinely be ashamed of Uncharted because you own the PlayStation and you fucking own Sony Studios that produced it. You should generally be like.
Speaking of movie adaptations, I think the best one I've seen is probably Gran Turismo. It was such a good movie.
Yeah, Need for Speed was a piece of shit also. Gran Turismo was beautiful.
Great cast. Such a good
great
movie.
cast. Great act. And so left field. You would never expect this to be a franchise, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's just fantastic. I think, in my opinion, one of the better Resident Evil 1 was a great movie adaptation.
Okay.
Everything
not
else.
For me. I'm too scared of horror. Not for me.
It was not really horror. It was a great movie adaptation. Mila Jovovich. The 7 after that was like, I can't explain how bad it was. The 7 after that. Similarly, Monster Hunter was like a bad adaptation.
Okay.
Like terrible adaptation. Oh, let's not forget the mother of them all.
Mortal Kombat.
Borderlands.
Oh. Yeah.
Please, let's not.
Mortal
Kombat was awesome. The first one that came out in 1995, and the second one, the second one was a direct-to-DVD. First one, and then the new one.
Yeah.
Fantastic. I think they were amazing.
Okay.
And I think they were very well done. And obviously they have limitations to what they can do, but I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it's fantastic. So I'm pretty excited about what's happening. Yeah. And some other pretty good games are dropped. Did you see the GTA 6 trailer?
Dude.
Like,
it looks good.
I had predicted they would use sort of like the graphic engine from Red Dead because the character models in GTA 5 are horrible.
Yeah.
But Red Dead was like, this is what it looks like. And hats off to Ubisoft for Far Cry 6. The graphics and the graphical tone is very similar to Far Cry 6. And that was a great looking game, by the way.
But I was having this debate with a friend of mine the other day, and we were just saying that I kind of feel like how how you look back in time and you look at other GTA games and how their graphics eventually they get like they I don't know how do you phrase it, like basically they just stop looking good after a while. I think GTA 6 will be very quick in doing that. A lot of people will just be like, yeah, graphics don't really live up to.
So there's a big debate from the beginning of time on graphics quality versus art style.
Okay.
Okay? And what I believe and what many others believe, and I am firm in my belief on this, art style outlives graphical fidelity.
That is true.
Okay? So Far Cry 6 in my opinion was a gorgeous game. Nobody talks about it. Nobody talks about like the graphics of it.
Yeah.
People do talk about Red Dead Redemption 2 and the cinematic way and the fog
Yeah.
and the lighting and the little nuances around it, number one, right? People don't talk about Modern Warfare 3, which I think was a gorgeous game. Quality game ki jo bhi thi. Let's not go there. Gorgeous game. People don't talk about Borderlands. Borderlands looked amazing because of the art style around it, right? Sorry, ulta bol gaya main. People talk about Borderlands. It has such a great art style, which is why movie bhi usse bani hai and all of that. So art style always outlives graphical fidelity, which is why you see people going back and playing games again and again with unique art styles because they never age, right? So some of these RPGs have very unique art styles. People keep going back to them and playing them because they look so unique, and it is not a look that comes from 4K or 2K resolution or ray tracing. It's the art style that's so appealing.
So I think one of my favorite art styles was Dishonored. I love the art style.
Exactly. I have played Dishonored even in April this year,
Yeah.
like last month, because it's such a coincidence. It has the art style of Arcane.
Yeah.
And the studio's name is Arcane Studios.
Yeah.
And we go back to that game because it is its own beast. It's just amazing, right? That game has got its own art style. Then a lot of these cel shaded games like Xenogears or the Nintendo IPs like Zelda. Like Zelda is Breath of the Wild is 7 fucking years old.
Yeah.
You put it on the Switch 2, you'll be like, yaar, kya game hai? Kya lag raha hai? And you someone who's anal is gonna point out, bro, it's on 720p and it's looking. You're like, but the art style, man, have you seen it? And if you're lucky to have a PC that you can emulate it on, so art style lives on forever.
Good thing you brought up the Nintendo yourself. Do you think games like Breath of the Wild, Super Mario, and all of these, do you think Nintendo will implement a technology where the games will be automatically upscaled on the Switch too?
No.
Okay.
And there's a very simple reason for that. So let's park this question under the Switch 2 conversation. Okay. So we talked about a lot of things, games especially. But let's talk about bigger gaming news. Like the biggest gaming news right now is the Switch 2, right? And
it was until GTA 6 controller came out.
No, but it's still biggest news because they also announced this 2026, right?
That's
so
true. Yeah.
Like whatever. It's not affecting anybody's buying decision, right? So Switch. So I love the Switch. Simply love the Switch. And the Switch 2, I'll probably again be one of the first people to get the Switch 2. What pisses me off though, and that's very non-Japanese of them, is the extremely almost EA-like greed of Nintendo in its pricing mechanism.
ELI? Can you elaborate?
EA-like, greedy,
okay.
greedy, right?
Yeah.
So the games are gonna be $90, $80. People are already struggling with $69.99, bro.
Yeah.
Right? $80, $90. They're charging $10 to $15 for every upgrade. Like if you want to play Breath of the Wild and better graphics, you pay more money. And then, as a policy, Nintendo first-party games never go on sale during their lifetime.
Yeah.
So if you download Super Mario Odyssey that came out in 2018, it's still $59.99. As a policy, there is no rebate. And there is a very poor secondary market. तो हमारे जैसे मुल्कों में used game भी नहीं मिलते Switch के. Like used game भी ले जाओगे 12-15 का मिलेगा. You like fuck it, I'll just buy the new one for 25. Like use. सही है. But at the same time, it is a revolutionary device. The sheer number of accessories you can buy for that shit is amazing. very tough built. The controllers were horrible, by the way, but the main like unit itself is a marvel of engineering. यार अगर controller हटा दो इतना पतला सा 7 इंच का tablet है, and look at how it performs, right? The new one is gonna be HD. It's not OLED, but it's high resolution LED, LCD, and I'll bring over my old Switch. It was like the OG one. It looks beaten up and bruised, phul chuka hai. But it slides into its own handheld dock. I have a handheld dock off the market, third party, and it still works. Still gives me 3 hours battery life. You know, pop in a cartridge. I haven't jailbroken it. Pop in a cartridge, works smoothly. I think Nintendo will. So we keep talking about bragging about metrics.
Okay.
The real winner of this last generation was Nintendo Switch. It wasn't the Xbox, it wasn't the PlayStation.
So just like,
it was there, and it'll be the same the next as well, and the next, and their games are inimitable. Nobody makes the games they make. Like you'll laugh about Mario Kart, but like 8 million people are fucking gonna buy it, right? It's like that.
So like, do you think just Xbox games are coming to PlayStation? PlayStation games might be going to Xbox, or they're at least going to PC. You think we would ever expect Nintendo to go to Xbox,
No.
PlayStation, or even PC?
No.
Not at all.
I don't think we'll see any Nintendo games. And I'm basing my comment purely on business decision. Like if you were a company that had an aggressive pricing strategy, you're wanting to charge people $80, $90 for first party games and third party games respectively, why would you let those games be available on other platforms? I mean, that's just a thought I'm having. That if you're so aggressively priced and you have such a inward focused strategy on consumers, and then you'll be like, okay, but my platform is now open, I'm giving my games to. I don't think that will happen. One of the things Nintendo is relying on and relies on is this wonderful back catalog of games. So let me tell you what I enjoy the most on my Switch, and many people don't know this service exists, which is actually a crime on Nintendo's part. So there's a service called Nintendo Online. It's possibly one of the most expensive online services for what it gives you. And when Nintendo Online enables online gaming, just like PS Plus, वगैरह वो तो hygiene है. Discounts, of course, you would assume that will happen. But what it unlocks is, the first month it unlocked Nintendo games. Old Nintendo games, like the 8-bit Nintendo games, right? Contra, Shantra. And you could go there and it will show up and you simply click and you can play all these games, right? So I would play. 2 months later, they introduced Super Nintendo game.
Okay.
Right? Super Nintendo games, which are obviously 16-bit, great era, Star Wars, all of that. 6 months later, shock of all shocks, they introduced the library from their biggest competitor, Sega Mega Drive games.
Yeah.
Nintendo Online, right? And then a couple of their indie games, and okay. Now, for Switch 2, then they added Nintendo 64 games.
Yeah.
So imagine I'm playing Donkey Kong 64, Mario 64 natively on my Switch with all the shashka, rewind, forward, save state, load, emulation, all of that. And now with this, they have committed, they will open up the most popular library after that. Game Boy Advance library, Game Boy Color library, Zelda, Link to the Past. And now with the Switch 2, they have committed Nintendo Online will have their most popular modern day library, which was GameCube.
Oh, okay.
So the whole GameCube library, Super Mario Sunshine, Luigi Mansion, all of this, Resident Evil Code Veronica, everything becomes part of Nintendo Online. So the ecosystem is a beast. Now just imagine, Nintendo Wii U जो है, not V. V के games भी देने वाले हैं because motion से चलते हैं, वो चलता है. V so GameCube V, not Wii U. Wii U is very high end, but their new console can handle Wii U games. Imagine if Wii U games also started coming on that.
So do you think they would ever take this service and make it into a cloud streaming service like Xbox? And if they make it the most expensive, like you're saying?
I don't think they'll do a cloud gaming service. They already do some form of cloud and not many people know this. So 2 years ago, games like Hitman 3 and all started showing up on like Nintendo. We were like, how will this poor thing play Hitman 3? But it was just a 20 MB file That was a cloud streaming file.
Okay.
And when you click it, it will log into a Nintendo server and allow you to stream the game.
Oh.
Yeah, man, you guys don't know the shit that the Japanese have been doing, bro.
That
It's
is
crazy.
That's actually kind of
Crazy.
That's
The
very
little
crazy.
tiny beast would be playing like Hitman 3 at like full HD, like holy shit. So it's going to be a very.
So
but-
I mean, obviously you would require an online connection to play those games.
But the thing is that people will still buy the Switch because you will never get those games anywhere. And let me tell you one thing, I own every single Nintendo first party game on the Switch. First party game, you know what a first party
No,
game
yeah,
is.
yeah.
Except for the new Princess Peach का वो एक बच्चा वाला game है. The level of fun and experience you have on those games is not replicated anywhere else. When you play Super Mario Odyssey, when you play Zelda Link to the Past, when you play Breath of the Wild, when you play ये जो नया वाला जो आया है Tears of the Princess or whatever,
Tears of the Kingdom.
Kingdom वो, if you play some Mario Kart, if you cannot imagine the Kirby, oh my god, my all-time favorite is Kirby. Then the Super Mario के other games उसमें और भी हैं, Super Mario 3D World. आप नहीं, you cannot Super Donkey Kong World and all of that. यार आप imagine नहीं कर सकते. I can go on and on and on and on, and you'll be like, genuinely be like, this is the most fun. Imagine games where they have nailed UX, where you go like, इससे बेहतर मैंने कुछ खेला ही नहीं है. When I played Zelda Breath of the Wild the first time I cried as an adult. I was like,
Wow.
but in gaming, I was like,
Yeah.
how have I denied myself this? Because I was never a Zelda fan. GameCube पे मैंने कभी Twilight Princess नहीं खरीदा, Wind Waker खरीदा, मैंने, it was beautiful. But I was like, how have I denied myself this? Like how? So that is how good they are, and
Wow.
you will experience that on how good they are. But they are ruthless. But yeah, so that's.
I mean, with the way you're describing their games, I can understand why they would be ruthless. I mean, if they wanna preserve their specialty, then you know.
Anyway, so we talked about. I mean, I want to keep this podcast a little short so that people get into the groove with us.
Yeah.
But I think the last 5 minutes or so we should spend on what's happening in football.
Yes.
Because one of our friends here hasn't recovered from trauma.
Not
From-
one, two actually.
Two, sorry.
Three now.
Three.
I mean, he's a Barcelona fan.
So first two because of Madrid being kicked out, and then as of yesterday,
Yes.
one of our friends with Barcelona being kicked out. And who would have thunk is Inter Milan in the finals,
Yeah.
and Arsenal bottled it again.
Yep.
Well, to be very
Yeah,
honest,
to be honest, they did bottle because I watched the match yesterday and Arsenal could have done so much better than they did.
but to be very honest, I think the Premier League teams did so well, man.
Yeah.
They made it all the way to the top of the Europa Cup, all the way to the top of the Champions League. I think it's commendable on the skill available in the league right now. What I find hilarious about us as Man United fans
Yeah.
is, bro, we're like 16th in the league and we're like vying for the finals, like out
So-
the Europa Cup.
By the time this episode goes out, either we're in the final or we've lost. I mean, the match is today for us. So
Either we bottle
hopefully
it.
we're in the final right now.
कोई भी चले जाए, टॉटनहम ना जाए.
Tottenham have final though, I think so.
Tottenham तो पहुंच गया ना टॉटनहम में.
I think so.
Shit, Habib, if you're listening to this, I'm not happy. But congrats to Harry Kane. Finally gets a shield.
Finally won a trophy.
No. Finally gets a shield. That's the
Oh,
joke. That's the
yeah.
running joke. He didn't
Yeah.
get a trophy, but he finally won something, and that's fantastic.
Yeah.
And so good on him. Also, want to talk about dude. How is Anthony playing in like? क्या मजाक चल रहा है यार?
Anthony.
Did you see that match-winning goal?
Yeah. I think this was his last game, and it was the last kick of the game as well. Cuts in, finesse.
Full crescent, bro. Full crescent.
Reminded me of Robin. I was looking at it, I was like, damn, that's kinda
Robin
looks-
and some of Beckham's free kicks,
Yeah.
where the goalkeeper would be like, "Kya fayda rok saka?" and he'd be like, "What the shit just happened?" Right? Dude, that guy's a beast. It's amazing what he's doing, and I can't wait till the time he comes back and we again destroy him. So and he won't be able to do shit. But but our season has been shit as hell, bro.
Yeah.
Like this is horrible.
So like I saw this interview the other day. It was Mainu and Garnacho. Both of them were saying, even if Man United win the Europa League, it would still not be a good season for us. I completely 100% agree. It's not the standard that United should be set to.
देखो exactly because यूरोपा लीग पे तो लेस्टर भी पहुंच चुका है जब लेस्टर रेलिगेशन बैटल कर रहा था तो मतलब उसका कोई ताल्लुक नहीं है ना किसी चीज से बट द फैक्ट ऑफ द मैटर इज आई डोंट नो शिट this team plays like a bunch of enigmas and weirdos that I cannot put my finger on.
I would disagree. I think at the start of the season, yes, I would say they had been playing pretty. They would just do their own thing, but now ever since Amorim has come in, they've established a system, and you can see what Amorim has planned. He doesn't have the players for his system. Hopefully, after the transfer window ends, that's when he'll start getting. I mean, we're linked to Matheus Cunha from Wolves. We've been linked with a new goalkeeper because Onana is just Onana. And
yeah, so I hear where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I still stand by what I said. Uski reason ye कि when you perform a certain way on a Monday with a team and you perform an absolutely opposite way on a Wednesday or a Thursday with the same team, something's not right.
Yeah.
Right?
True.
Something's not right. So that is why I call them enigmas and weirdos because अगर आप मुझे बोलो ना कि यार कोच का स्टाइल ठीक इज टेकिंग टाइम टू सेटल इन बिकॉज वो सर्टन ए टीम को मंडे को खिलाता है यूरोपा में और एक सर्टन बी टीम तो नहीं लेकिन ए प्लस अ लिटिल बी टीम ऑन थर्सडे तो अभी उनका जल नहीं हुआ I'd be like you got a point like the same fucking carbon copy squad sometime plays 2 days back to back and एक में 4-0 हारते हैं और एक में 4-0 जीतते हैं you're like भाई मतलब कोई कंसिस्टेंसी तो जिंदगी में होती है ना यार and it's not like we're the only unique ones with this schedule bro. There are some teams that played 3 tournaments, 4 tournaments, and they reached quarterfinal stages in all of them. So there was times when they were playing 4 games a week.
I think it just comes down to a mentality issue when it comes to United players because we've seen time and time again with players like Sancho, players like Rashford, even now hearing rumors about Mainu as well. So
यार मैं तुम्हें honestly बताऊं कभी कभार ना एक चीज देखो मैं इंग्लिश फुटबॉल की गलती मानता हूँ. The narrative is very poor. They love picking on teams. Right? They love, and this is something that Roy Keane has said many times. English commentators love to pick people up and throw them down to the ground. Right? And that's terrible. Right? And like a lot of people, आजकल wrestling का भी golden period आया है, right? Yeah. So people say, oh, Vince is now gone, Triple H is back, it's so awesome, let's watch it, everybody loves it, right? So the narrative has become so positive that millions of new users or viewers that they had lost have come back. Yeah, oh, Vince चले गया, सारा कचरा खत्म हो गया, अभी आ गया. नहीं भाई, अभी भी शदीद कचरा बुकिंग्स होती हैं. स्मैकडाउन इज अ स्नूज फेस्ट. ठीक है 3 घंटा जबरदस्ती चलाता है. इट्स अ स्नूज फेस्ट. यू लेड ऑफ टॉप रेसलर्स. अभी यू हैव नो स्टोरी लाइंस. योर WWE Raw शो इज गुड बट योर WrestleMania was garbage. Your Backlash is now no longer WrestleMania Revenge. That was the whole basis for the. Just imagine if United were to have been relegated. 16th पे तो आ गए ना. 18th हो जाते यार. आप मतलब कैसे रीबिल्ड करते हैं? एंड अ लॉट ऑफ पंडिट्स से दैट द चैंपियनशिप इज एक्चुअली हार्डर टू विन बिकॉज द स्ट्रक्चर इज डिफरेंट एंड द स्केड्यूल एंड द गेम्स एंड ऑल ऑफ दैट. और आप मतलब आप यूनाइटेड होके यार आप मतलब दैट इज व्हाट यू वुड हैव बीन लाइक फकिंग बैटलिंग फॉर, राइट? एंड द रीजन आई फील दिस मोर is look at what Ryan Reynolds and his partner have done for Wrexham.
Yeah.
Bro, like Sunday League team यार. They're now in the championship. मतलब आप मुझे ये कहना चाह रहे हैं कि अगर इस साल आप रेलीगेट हो जाते तो आप Wrexham के साथ खेल रहे होते चैंपियनशिप में. मतलब वो 3 साल में यहाँ से उठ के यहाँ आए होते और आप 3 साल में पोस्ट ओले आप आए हुए होते नंबर 2 इन द लीग से Wrexham के साथ खेलने के लिए चैंपियनशिप में, क्योंकि you would have met somewhere in the middle. That is what I'm trying to explain. Not taking away from what Wrexham did. Brilliant. And imagine if next year they're in Premier League. Mind blown. 4 साल में he takes like a pet project from here to here, right? And obviously they'll get beaten horribly because they will never have the funds to buy the players and shit like that.
But somehow they'll still find a way to beat United though.
Oh, तो anybody can. एक ज़माने में मजाक उड़ाते थे on any given day Swansea can beat Arsenal because Arsenal would always lose to Swansea. तो ये भी वही होगा. But so yeah, so that's why it's very disturbing. But anyways, before we sign off, क्या ख्याल है? Final किसका है? कौन जीतेगा?
Champions League? Oh, I'd say Inter Milan. They look different. They look very different this year. PSG, they still look a little shaky. Inter Milan look crazy. They look really good. Their front three, their defense, their midfield, everything looks really good.
I think I agree. It's a mentality thing.
Yeah.
They're playing to win.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that as a cliched comment. I genuinely mean it's a mentality thing. They have accepted victory. Like, like how you accept defeat. They'll accept it. They're like, yeah, ye to hai na. We just have to show up. And not in an overconfident way. It's just the way they are.
It's just,
Secondly, I've never liked PSG. So
yeah. So I mean, like PSG, I was watching the match yesterday. And even the players, their body language didn't really seem like it. Just seemed like an average League One game for them, which says a lot about Arsenal. But it was just like, yeah.
I think.
And for the Europa, try not to be biased, but do it for Bruno. Do it for Bruno. Get United the win.
Do it for me. I want to watch some sport where my team is not losing. Man, I stopped watching cricket because I would get traumatized every time a match would come on. I want to watch football or something that I can watch without feeling traumatized, yaar. But I'm trying to find new sports. I watch pro slapping these days now. We call that power slap or power whatever. It's so much fun. It's very frustration nikal aati hai. But anyways, I think that's enough for today, man.
I agree. It's been our first episode of season 2, and I think this season we'll be uploading more frequently and a little bit shorter episodes. Like this one is, I think, almost an hour long. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Take care. Bye bye.